Next, we're going to show you how to fit a special walking harness on little Miss Dixie here. Because we don't encourage the choke chains and the prong collars, we give you some other alternatives. And one of those would be our Easy Walk harness. How it differs from a regular harness is the leash fits in the front of their chest instead of on the top of their back. And that basically uses their own body weight to pull them back so they can't pull so hard on your arm and hurt you. The best way to fit this, they make them color-coded. The odd color out always goes under the belly. The tag always goes up on the left shoulder, and it does fit fairly tight. So you're going to see her flail, and she's not going to like it initially. That's realistic. This is something that takes dogs a little bit to get used to. So keep that in mind when you're trying it on your own dog. And we do sell those here, and we can help you fit them since it can be a little bit of a process. So it hooks under the belly. I always tell people keep it loose and tighten it after you get it on the dog because you don't want to pinch her belly. And you can tighten it at all points on their body. So I'm going to do the belly first, and then I'm going to tighten it on her back a little bit. We're going to tighten it enough so that it's pretty firm on her, pretty snug.
And when you're putting this on, Rhonda, you don't have to remove their other collar, do you?
You do not,
no. You can leave the other collar on. So you don't have to be undoing one thing and putting something else on.
That's correct. And I actually encourage that you leave the other collar on because we're going to use that to help us get her to walk better. We're going to hook her leash up to both the collar and the harness. That way, if she were to step out of this, if you didn't have it tight enough, she can't get away from you. She's still hooked up.
Control. Oh,
so
okay.
She's eating all my treats here.
I have a couple in my hand.
All right,
yet.
So that is another thing we encourage. When you are starting a new training technique with your dog, such as a harness or whatever kind of collar, make sure you have your treats handy. It's going to be a lot easier for her to accept this type of a new body fit harness if she's getting a lot of reward for doing it. So I'm just going to kind of show you how it works a little bit.
Okay, so now you have it hooked on the harness and the collar right now.
I do. I'm going to turn her around so you can see that. Hooked right on the harness and her collar, so I have a little bit of control. And you can see she can't really pull me. I mean, I don't know if you saw her flailing before, but she can't really pull me because her own body weight is she's using her own body weight to pull back on herself, if that makes sense. So that's how that works. And again, we offer those here at the shelter for any size dog, and we can show you how to fit them and how to work them. We are also going to show you another alternative to help you curb bad walking habits, and this is called a gentle leader. It is also called like a head halter. There are a couple different versions. If you're going to use it, we encourage you actually use the Premier Gentle Leader version, as it's a little bit more sturdy and it works better. Basically, this part is going to click up behind her ears, right on the top of her head, and this is going to come up and go over her mouth or her muzzle. It is not going to hinder her from doing normal dog stuff. She can bark, she could bite if she wanted to, she can take treats, eat food, whatever she wants. It's not a muzzle. It works very similar to a horse reins. If you've ever ridden a horse, you know that if they try to go forward and you pull the reins back, it turns their head, which stops them from moving forward. This is going to do the same thing. Keep in mind, this is a puppy. She's pretty wiggly, and any dog putting this on for the first time is going to flail a little bit. It's uncomfortable, feels funny on their muzzle, and it takes a while to get used to it, which is where your treats come in handy. This is something you would only use for walking. This is not a collar they would wear daily or throughout the day in their house. It's only something you'd put on for walking. So we'll try to put it on her.
And I think we found with the dogs here that we use them on after they've gotten accustomed to them, they kind of associate, oh, here comes my walking, my gentle leader, that means I'm going to go for a walk. And so they understand, ooh, this is a good thing. So that initial getting it fitted correctly, making sure that it's not going to slide off. It's like anything else. We need to get used to it. And again, reward is the best thing to do. Positive reinforcement that this is a good thing.
So we'll try to put it on her and show you how it works. Come here, little Miss Dixie. Here, have a treat. Have a treat to get started with. This piece comes right up, and this is what's going to go over her nose. She's not going to like it at first. It's new. Clicks right up behind her head. This is a little loose on her. We're going to tighten it. You want it to be tight enough, just like a collar, so that you can fit some fingers and actually move it up behind her ears. This should be tight enough that you could pull it down to the fleshy part of her nose, but not off her muzzle. So we'll start with it how it is now. I think it'll be okay.
So if it's too loose, it's going to come right off.
It's going to come right off. So this part of the leash is going to hook up right down here. And we'll give you a little demo. When you're walking a dog on a gentle leader, you want to make sure the leash is always kind of under. You don't want it to be over. It won't serve a purpose if it's like that. It's got to be under like this. Okay.
Now, like any other training tool, Rhonda, it is important to let the gentle leader do the correction. As a walker or a dog owner, we shouldn't be jerking on this, or because can we still do damage by
you can do damage
by pulling?
Oh yeah,
okay. Because I know a lot of times people have a tendency. We want our dogs to respond to us, and sometimes we're kind of jerking on the leash. And so what can we do to correct that?
Well, this type of collar is a great correction for that because you don't have to do anything like Cheryl said. The collar makes the correction. You don't have to jerk the dog. You don't have to do any kind of pulling back. This is going to do it for the dog is self-correcting with this.
Because when she's walking forward, it's going to pull her head back. If she's getting too far ahead of you, her head's going to turn, and that's going to be unnatural, and she's going to back up. Okay.
No jerking required.
Well, let's have you walk her around a little bit so we can see what that's like.
And you can see how she does not like it, so I'm going to keep my treats out, and as soon as she starts to kind of throw a fit about it, we're going to give her a treat, kind of remind her this is a good thing. All right. And the first couple of walks are pretty difficult. I will not lie. It's something they have to get used to. So you can keep treats in your hands. We'll kind of walk her around. Good girl. Lots of praise, lots of reward. She's going to kind of go all different directions because she just has never worn this before, and it's so foreign to her. But once she gets used to it, she will do a lot better. So come on, let's go this way. Let's go this way. Come on. And you can see she's already getting a little bit more used to it. Oh, she's flailing. Try to keep it on the inside. It's not easy with how she's flailing, but you just keep practicing and keep those treats coming. I'm using little dog kibble. You do not have to go out and buy expensive treats for this. She can just have dog food, a little piece at a time. It's healthier for her. It's serving the same purpose, and she won't get diarrhea.
And is it a good idea if you're not able to go for a long walk, to go for a short walk, take it off, and then maybe do it a couple times during,
Sure, definitely. And you can see as soon as she gets a treat, she kind of settles down for a few minutes. So it's just a matter of time before she gets the idea. And she's already, a couple minutes into it, she's already doing a lot better.
And you certainly can see that she can eat treats and do whatever she needs to do with her mouth. It's not hindering her at all.
That's right. And look at how nice she's walking. I mean, she literally is just staying right at my side. Now, granted, I have treats, and that's helping. But the collar really does do a lot of good.
And we find that the head halter is very beneficial when you have a larger dog that has a tendency to pull. Because here again, our strength against theirs isn't always equal, and so it gives you a little bit more. It gives you a lot more control over your dog. So it's a matter of choosing whether you want to use the gentle leader or the easy walk harness.
Yeah, and it does depend on the type of dog you have. A dog with a shorter muzzle, a boxer or a pit bull type of dog, it might be easier to use the harness. The one thing I've noticed personally is you have a lot more control with the gentle leader versus the harness. The harness is more to slow down the walk. The gentle leader actually does give you some control over the dog so you can accomplish some training. But both of them are a great alternative besides a choke chain or a prong collar.
We'd like to thank you for joining us today and hope you had as much fun as we did.
And we want to remind everybody that the Oshkosh Area Humane Society is a resource for our community, for animals and people. And thanks for joining us.
And until next time,
happy tales to you.
Puppy Tales was brought to you by the Oshkosh Area Humane Society and the following local underwriters: Lakeside Animal Hospital, 235-5040. Provident Financial Consultants, LLC, 230-6898. West Business Services, 920-997-6927.